Is the version of GLP-GIP that you are taking actually safe and effective? And how can you possibly know that before you purchase it? Well, we actually submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to Health and Human Services and the FDA. This because just in the last couple of weeks, the FDA has released a green list of manufacturers that actually provide the active pharmaceutical ingredient in the compounded versions of medications that you use. These are going to include manufacturers that have been approved by the FDA to import their medications into the US. We ought to be able to see that, and here's what the HHS responded and said. And I'm sort of paraphrasing here, but essentially what they said was, the active pharmaceutical ingredients made by certain overseas manufacturers are considered trade secrets, and thus it is redacted. And this actually tracks with what we have heard from pharmacies over the last couple of years as we have poked and prodded to try to find the source of the APIs that various pharmacies are using. Now, this is not great news for patients because at the end of the day, there is no transparency in where your compounds are coming from. And what we learned in the FDA report last week on compounds is that 72% of their enforcement that has been taken against API manufacturers has been taken against API manufacturers that only make API for compounders, even though compounders only account for 18% of the total API manufacturing. And most of these issues are coming from API manufacturers in India and China. So our response to the FDA and HHS is essentially, how are patients supposed to know that they're getting the safest and most effective green listed versions if it's all redacted? I await their response. Make sure you follow along here because as soon as we have a response from them, we will share it with you.